Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the YummyArts Theater. It's not a kitchen anymore, it's a theater. YummyArts Theater. We have an excellent show for you today, starring one of our favorites, Monika Stout. Yay! Excellent. Monika, why don't you tell us what you're going to do today, because I'm excited.
Today I'm going to show you how to make a fun Hawaiian tropical themed cake.
Woohoo!
Great for birthdays, baby showers if you have a tropical theme.
How about barbecues?
Barbecues, that'd be great.
Hawaiian
Weddings, if you have tropical themed wedding. It's pretty colorful,
Yeah.
so
Right. Yeah.
I think you're going to like it.
I'm seeing the colors right now.
Yeah, we got a lot of very bright colors. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to start with is a ganached or buttercreamed and then fondant covered cake. So this is an 8-inch, and I've done a really kind of a bright sky blue that I covered it with, and that's going to be your base color. And the second thing we're going to do is we're going to make some hibiscus flowers. I think these are hibiscus. I don't know my flowers very well, but I'm assuming these are hibiscus. This is a candy mold, and you can make 3 at a time. And I'm going to start with this because I want to pop them in the freezer and get them a chance to harden up a little bit before I try to pull them out. If you try to pull them out without freezing them, they tend to kind of stretch. The fondant stretches and you lose the shape. So we're going to start with this, and we're going to put those in the freezer, and they're going to move on to the next step so we can get these going. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my cornstarch, and I'm going to cornstarch this pretty good.
Is it just pure cornstarch, or is there anything else in there?
No, this is pure cornstarch, and it's in a, I bought a brand new knee-high stocking, and I put it inside that. Some people use powdered sugar. I like cornstarch. It's just a preference. I don't know if one is better than the other, but I personally like cornstarch. So I'm going to cornstarch it pretty good because this is not really meant, I mean, fondant can go in here, but it's not totally meant for fondant. So it has a tendency to stick a little bit. So the first thing I'm going to do is we want to have the little, I think it's called the stamen part of the hibiscus in yellow. So you can do this with any molds. You can choose to highlight certain colors in certain parts of the mold. So I'm going to take, it's hard to see, but there's little circle places here, here, and here on each flower where we're going to put a little bit of yellow. So we're going to take just a little ball of yellow, and we're going to put that in each of those sections like this. So we have that is in yellow. This is pretty easy to do. It's not that big of a deal. So we got those in there, and then
you can hold that up for the camera.
Yeah, you can see it there. Also in here is a thin little line which attaches the stamen to the center of the flower. So I'm going to add that too. So I'm just going to take a tiny, tiny bit of fondant and roll it out into a little cord. And that one's too long, so I'm going to cut it with my fingernail, and I'm going to take it and I'm going to lay it in that little ridge where so it fits right in there, so that when we have our pink flower, we have the pretty yellow stamen coming out of it. So I'm going to lay that in there as well, one last one, and I'll show this to you once I get them all in there.
Great.
And then what we're going to do, so let me get this in, I'll show that to you. Then we're going to add the pink to do our pink flower. So put that in there. So you can see now I've got the yellow in place. Now I want the pink to stick to it, so I'm just going to take a tiny bit of water and rub. I'm not going to rub the cord because that'll stick, it's so thin, and I don't want to start moving it around, but I'm going to put a little bit of water on the top of the pink or the yellow dots because I want those to stick to the pink when I pop this out. So now I'm going to take my pink and I'm going to fill the rest of the mold. So get a bunch. And when I put it in, I'm going to be careful to not shift the little cord in there. I don't want to just shove it in here and move it out of its ridge. So I'm going to put it in kind of gently straight on top. And then I'm just going to press the fondant around. I don't need to really fill this whole mold. Like I said, this is a candy mold to make suckers. So it's pretty thick, it's pretty deep. Because you've got a stick in there and you want the sucker to be strong enough to hang onto the stick. Well, we don't need that much thickness of fondant, so I'm kind of pushing it in. I'm pushing it to the edges of the mold, but I'm kind of, so it's up the sides a little bit, so I make sure and get all the petals, but it's not very deep. It hasn't filled the mold all the way to the top, because like I said, you don't need to do that. Oh, and see, one of my little circles fell out when I lifted it up, so let's put that back in again.
That's good. That'll happen to all of us. When
That'll happen to all of you. Just put it back in again. I mean, you won't be lifting it up and showing people. Well, you might.
Well, you never know.
Yeah, you might. But so I'm going to do
Have
this.
you seen some of our members? I'm just saying.